What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of Talking Points Media. I am Daniel Franz Hernandez. This is James Miller, and this is Giancarlo Malache. Again, we just want to thank you all for watching the first episode, and if you have not, make sure you watch it. It is on our channel, and link is on our Facebook and Instagram. It's in our bio. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and comment on the videos. We do appreciate it. All right, first topic of the day. This is going to be a substantially shorter one just because free agent signing is always busy and always lots of players move in and this, that, and the other. So we're going to talk about sort of one that we've already kind of discussed on our side, but we now have our third counterpart here. So Jumbo Joe comes back home. What do you think?
I'll start off.
Yeah, because you're the only one that hasn't spoken.
Okay,
so.
well, I mean, I like it. I mean, I love Joe Thornton on the Leafs. I think what the Leafs are trying to cultivate here is like a pretty significant amount of the team being from Toronto, which hasn't happened in a very, very long time. So I think the morale in the dressing room is gonna definitely increase. But I don't like what we kind of got rid of him for, or basically we're not re-signing him. Apparently, that was the news. Gauthier will not be re-signed, and basically what you're doing is you're trading in a young big center for another big center who's just a veteran.
Substantially older.
Oh, substantially, right? He's probably down to his last year or two, and he's still going to be playing. He's basically taking Gauthier's position, and it's like, to me, it's like, I don't see what you did there, other than veteran, you know?
At the end of the day, it will look like a short-term Band-Aid, and it's kind of more just for Joe Thornton's peace of mind to come home. I mean, you could tell he was happy. He thinks the team's in a position where they can win now, and he wants a cup. Definitely, I was a fan of Freddie Gauthier, but they weren't going to keep him. Eventually, they were going to move on from him. They have quite a bit of young talent in the farm that's there, and I'm sure they're going to take a look at a lot of those players in the preseason. Mm-hmm. And it's down the road. I mean, who knows if Joe Thornton even re-signs with us next year or goes back to San Jose to finish off his career. Yeah. But I mean, he is putting up still potentially 40 points, and in a reduced role on San Jose.
Yeah. He's a key centerman. He's an assist man. I think there was one year he got like 5 goals and 72 assists.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
He is more of a setup guy.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's what they're looking for there too. And I mean, playing, let's face it, Toronto has a much more potent offensive powerhouse than the San Jose Sharks. I mean, they have some great players, some good young players, but they don't have, the Austin Matthews, the William Nylander, John Tavares. Potentially, if you put Thornton on one of those lines, I mean, who knows? Like, he might start just setting up Matthews all day.
That's true.
I mean, let the season start. Let's see where it goes.
I'm happy with him. It was just, I didn't understand why you have a sizable youth center, right? And you're trying to fill up your fourth and third line, but bulk them up a little bit.
For sure.
And then you're just trading it in for an older version of it.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, Frederic Gauthier's biggest issue is his speed. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, Thornton doesn't have much more to give, but I mean, for Frederic Gauthier's size, I would love to see him throw his weight around more. I would love to see him get in the mix and start throwing some punches, do something. Yeah. Thornton's one of those guys, he's going to get out there, he's going to hit guys, and he's going to punch people in the face at 40 years old.
Hopefully, hopefully he can change the...
Get his beard ripped out.
Yeah.
Have some cadre.
I mean...
Well, he already shaved it, so, he doesn't need to have that happen.
I'm waiting for anybody these days to change the Leaf culture of this no-hitting, like, house league hockey style.
I'm hoping, what I'm kind of worried about is, like, kind of a David Clarkson situation with Wayne Simmons, where Clarkson got on the team and he wanted to try to make a statement right away, and he got suspended like 2 games at the start of the regular season for sticking up for Kessel, which I was completely fine with. But it was like, I felt like he tried to come out the gate and make a statement for Toronto, and he just never found his footing. Right. And I think there's a lot of players when they come here, they try to do that, and it's almost like overwhelming of like, I have to produce something. Yeah. Someone like Mike Komisarek had that same issue when he came here, like, big towering defensive defenseman, we were like, okay, that's what we need. He's going to throw hits, and the guy was just absolute garbage. He just never found his footing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Best, worst trade, or your favorite worst trade for Toronto?
Favorite worst trade?
Like guy that just never panned out, but you were hella excited for. I already know mine off the top of my head. I can tell you right now. You ready? Dave Bolland. I thought
no, but Dave Bolland played great.
He played a great season.
Yeah, and then he got injured after half
that
the
was
season.
his problem. I mean,
Okay,
his career is essentially
he also
over.
has Achilles slice, so
His career is essentially over, and I mean, David Clarkson had the same thing happen, and so did Nathan Horton.
Yeah, but
They're all in that same boat. Those three guys.
Okay, that's yours.
I say Dave Bolland.
2002. I was waiting 5 or 6 years for Gilmore to come back to the Leafs, and he did. And you have no idea how much joy I had. He's my favorite player. And then he came back against Calgary, second period, and somebody skated backwards into his knee. And then I'll never forget the front page, John Ferguson, that fucking guy. Doug Gilmore is not in the plans for next season. He also never made the playoffs. John Ferguson. But anyway, so at least Gilmore retired a Leaf, but that to me was the most heartbreaking.
I would have to say for myself, and this is more just the situation of you were expecting a guy to come in and play with a high-end player, and it was supposed to just work, and it didn't, was Chris Versteeg. So he came in,
40 goals.
great player, like he can put up points, and he was a very good player for many seasons, but we expected him to play with Kessel, and it just never panned out.
Right.
And he ended up getting abused by fans. I heard a story, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently his car got completely vandalized, and that was like the last straw where he was like, I want out.
Really?
So that's why they ended up trading him.
I didn't know that.
Like, I think he only put up like 30 points for us when he was here.
Right.
And which is terrible, but you're trying to play on a first line with, with Kessel, and it just never panned out, which was unfortunate.
I think something maybe above what we're all talking about would be Andrew Raycroft. And from expectation
but
to what did we give away?
Tuukka
Rask, yeah.
And a first, I think.
See, at the end of the day, though, that's kind of one of those things for me. Like when Raycroft came in, he didn't necessarily play horrible for us. He actually broke a record
for the most games,
most wins.
Most wins.
Well,
yeah, when you're playing 60 plus games.
He tied or he broke the record. I think
I remember
he tied
that.
Joseph,
I remember that. Yeah.
But he didn't play terribly. He played actually pretty well for us and gave us an opportunity. We literally missed the playoffs because fucking
that bullshit. Yeah, that's true.
New Jersey didn't want to play Brodeur that game. They did not play Brodeur, and we lost Wade fucking Duplowicz.
Right.
Fuck that guy. So we missed out by one
Doobie
single point with a shootout.
Doobie.
It was just it was a heartbreaking season. I think if the Leafs actually had made it, they would have done
damage.
Something.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they were going to win it, but they would have done damage because that team was gelling and they were just like a brotherhood. Yeah. That was a part of the Muskoka Five where they would not let go of their contracts. They called them the Muskoka Five.
Muskoka Five. Why Muskoka Five?
I don't know the actual reasoning behind the name, but it was that's what they ended up calling them, and it was like Kubina, Brian McCabe, Coberle, Sandin, and there was one other player that I think was Tucker would not waive their no trades to be traded.
Really?
So like they were like no, because they felt that they could make it, and they were
I remember
right there.
something like that.
And then the next season, after Raycroft had that pretty good season, you'd think management would be like, all right, give him another shot, let's see how it goes. They were like, let's go out and get Vesatoska. And that's when you see Raycroft's face every time on the bench, just fucking chewing bubblegum, like, fucking shoot me.
So back to the Joe Thornton point.
Pizza and beer.
I think it's a positive, a slight positive, but we're all optimistic about it, but cautiously so. So the next little segment, and it's one that I want to kind of introduce and even give it a name, is we're going to call it plus minus. So we're just going to kind of look at just for today, we're going to look at just the Canadian teams, and we're going to sort of go through them one by one and sort of talk about whether we believe, basically since the offseason, or let's say pre the play-in playoffs, whatever you want to call it, have they improved their situation or have they gotten worse, or how we see it. So we'll start off simple. I mean, we'll go Calgary first, just in alphabetical order here. Who wants to take on the first little bit of this one? Let's go.
James, you go.
Yeah, you're a Calgary fan.
Yeah, I do like Calgary.
Shit.
I think so far they've made some pretty interesting moves. I mean, I think the signing of Markstrom was a really, really good move. Mm-hmm. Like, I think for them, they finally solved, at least for the next few years, their issue in goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the same time, when they had Mike Smith, I think he played really well for them. Obviously, he's older, and that was kind of the issue. That's why they weren't. It was more just a Band-Aid situation for them. They ended up picking up some pretty good players. I mean, they got Louis Domingue as a backup, or at least maybe not a backup because they have Riddick still, but at least a depth goalie, which he's not terrible. You know, there's
Chris Tanev.
a couple moves that, you know, they ended up losing some guys, but I mean, yeah, they did get Tanev, so I mean, he's a good, really good defenseman as well. Which is why, you know, someone like Vancouver, which we'll get to after, I think kind of lost a lot more than they gained.
So, I don't know. And when I look at Calgary and I'm just looking at these signings here, like, in my opinion, I mean, minus, like, Mangiapane there.
Bolton boy.
Yeah, well, it's, besides him, like, I mean, you're signing guys that are over the age of, like, 27. Like, these are all older guys. I don't know if that's going to help them, hurt them in the long run. And then to lose guys like TJ Brody, like, also a little bit older, but on the safe side.
I don't, at the end of the day, like, signing older guys doesn't necessarily hurt the team. Because, I mean, you know, you still want veteran presence, you know, in your locker room.
Yeah, but, okay, you got 4 guys that are, like, 30 plus.
Yeah, but that's what's available. That's what they have. That's what they're going, you know what I mean? Like, even someone like Joachim Nordstrom, he's played for Boston. He's had, you know, playoff experience, you know, and that's a good thing to have there, especially playing around players like Bergeron and Pasternak and even Marchand, dare I say it, you know, and Chara. Like, those guys, they're leadership guys, you know, and they instill those things on certain players, you know what I mean? And maybe he's one of those guys that can really come in the room and help settle everything down, because, I mean, Calgary has a good team, and they've had a good team for some years now, but there's a lot of, you know, uncertainties with players, and they've had those issues, you know. Someone like, obviously, we took TJ Brody, which, you know, I think is a good move for us.
So overall, plus or minus?
I'm going to say, I mean, can we go in the middle? Because, I mean, some of these teams, it's going to be kind of in the middle.
Yeah, go in the middle.
I'd say I'm right in the middle, you know, out of 0. It's not really a plus.
I would have
Or a
to
minus.
basically agree with you, simply because you know, all these little maneuvers with these teams, I'm just trying to gather up one question. Does this team look like their names are going to be in the Stanley Cup? I say no. I say that with so much potential that Calgary's had over the years, they have not capitalized on it. And I don't see the moves they're doing. I don't see them doing better than 2 playoff rounds.
I think in a couple seasons removed, you know, building around Jacob Markstrom is the right move.
Sure.
And building out, you know, building from the goalie out is always the best.
Right, and then just Markstrom alone has a little bit of an obstacle, because Calgary and goalies has been wobbly since Kiprusoff.
Exactly.
Since Kiprusoff, right?
I'm going minus. I don't care what these guys say, so I'm going to tilt the scale here and give Calgary an overall minus. The reason why is, I don't know, I'm seeing 30-year-old guys getting signed, and guys that are okay. They're not, like, decent, like, big, like, Thornton's over the hill. He's, like, over 30-something, but he's a huge name. He's a huge player. Like, none of these guys really stand out to me. Markstrom, yeah, he's pretty much the only guy that I would sit there and went, oh, shit, okay, good signing. But everyone else, I'm kind of like, meh. You got Zach Ronaldo. You got a goon. Congratulations. You signed a bunch of goons to protect Johnny Gaudreau, who, in my opinion, is an aging superstar as well. Like, he's over the hill. So I'm going Calgary is minus. Calgary's minus, and we're going with it that way.
All right, moving on. We're going to go to Edmonton Oilers. Made some moves. Picked up Tyson Barrie. They re-signed Mike Smith. What else? Tyler Ennis, Anton Forsberg, and Kyle Turris. So, I'll start things off. I think it's obvious that they are definitely in a better direction than where they left off from that playoff exit. Once again. And it's just at the same time, you're gonna, you know, everyone's scared of that typical Edmonton story for the last 7 years, and it's almost looks like no matter what they do, they always fall into the exact same problems. So what I'm most scared of, I think their tendency is Mike Smith. I don't think he's like kind of proven himself in Edmonton. You know, he did have that one good year, but you know, it all starts from the goalie. When it comes to playoff time, goalies are the most important thing that you have, asset that you have, and they did not better that. And he's 38 years old. You know, he's not getting any younger, so I don't see it. Again, I think they're right. I'm gonna give them like a +1, +2, just because they bettered their players. So yeah.
I'm on the fence with Edmonton because every year they astonish me with moves that they make. I still think that they need to more address their defense, and that has been an issue with them for years to come. They got Darnell Nurse. He's a good, strong guy on the back end, and I think he has some upside to him, definitely. Mm-hmm. But, Ethan Bear's another guy who could potentially become a better player, with some more time out there. But getting Tyson Barrie, that just seemed like an odd move for me. I think, he underachieved in Toronto, and for his sake, I hope he can find his footing. But is that the type of defenseman that they're really going to need?
Well, for $3.75 million, it's a good.
It's a pretty low risk. So if it works for them, it works. If not,
it's only 1 year.
The goaltending situation, I think again, Mike Smith still has, something to give. Mm-hmm. Is he a starter? Probably not. He's more situated for a backup situation.
But they give him some heavy workload.
Well, that's the thing, right?
And pick him up.
He's been dealing with that. If you looked at him in Calgary, he dealt with a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Like in that playoffs that they went into, he was the only reason they even had an opportunity to win. Mm-hmm. And even this season, like I heard the analysts were shitting on him. Oh, he let in 6 goals. Like you can't do that. They got to get another. Like, but if you watch the plays as they break down and you see the goals that are going in, is that Mike Smith's fault? Absolutely not. Maybe 1 or 2 goals, but when there's 6 goals happening, you have to look at the team as a whole and go, where are those issues coming? Centerman's not taking his guy. Defensemen are just watching guys walk in. Those are the issues. And you can't really just lay the blame on him.
Sure.
You do need your goalie to make a save, but when he's getting bombarded and the goals are pretty much impossible for him to stop, what do you want him to do?
Good point.
So plus minus, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna say again, they're sitting the same as me with Calgary. Just they're right in the middle.
All right.
Giving them down the middle.
Edmonton, I'm gonna give them a plus.
Plus what?
Maybe like one at most. But the only reason why is I like what they've done here. I think they've moved they've done what Calgary did, but better because you do have guys like Draisaitl and McDavid sitting up front that put up big points. So what do you go out and do? You get yourself some more depth, guys that have a little more experience, like Turris. You go get your rookie back from the K. Puljujärvi. How do you pronounce his name?
Puljujärvi.
I keep pronouncing
Puljujärvi.
I keep pronouncing it pretty much like that. I pronounce it fucking weird. I have a thing with pronouncing names. I'm awful.
Don Cherry over here.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's I like what they're doing. The Smith move, yeah. He played well enough for him, so yeah, why not? But yeah, exactly. I'd slide him right back into a backup role as well, and let him play some big minutes when you need it, and give your goalie, your starter, a real nice rest, and let him pick up the rest of the load. But yeah, I'm gonna go +1 for Edmonton. I think they're doing pretty well there. I think they're gonna see some depth this year.
Next up, we got Montreal. I want to kick things off in this one. I don't like. I think they're definitely a minus. I think they lost their best player, Max Domi, and they got him for Josh Anderson. And is that Montreal re-signed him for 7 years?
Yeah. Yep, he had like 1 or 2 years left on his contract.
They got him in the trade, and then they gave
I don't think Josh Anderson is like they're basically trying to say here we are. It almost looks like they're trying to form everything around Josh Anderson now.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't.
That's why I said
right
that.
There, what?
That's why we spoke about it before.
Playoff stats.
I said I don't know about that
26
signing.
games played, man.
Wow, I don't know.
4 points.
Yeah, I don't want John. Like this doesn't make any sense for me. Jake Allen is at the worst time in his career right now, so I guess they're betting on him to give him like a little bit of a rebirth for his career if it works in Montreal, which is basically a parallel universe to Toronto when it comes to media.
I think this becomes Mark Bergevin's job on the line.
Oh my god, his job has been on the line.
We've been saying that for how many years now?
Oh my god.
Have you seen the size of that man? He is huge.
Who cares?
They probably tried to fire him, and he probably just breaks the desk in half.
Come
He's
on,
like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, never mind, Mark, you get an
This
extension.
guy-
He's stress eating. That's why
He
he's
does. I don't know. I don't like.
He looks
this
like he's been
management
working
at all.
out the entire season. He's
I'm
not
very-
worried about trading.
I'm very
He's worried about
happy.
working out, and he's like, if they try to take my job, I'm going to break their necks.
I'm very happy he's not like a Toronto manager at all. You know what I mean? Like he would. I mean, we don't have the best either.
He would have been fired the next day.
Yeah.
The moment he made that move, Max over Josh Anderson, he would have been
so Tyler Toffoli, and basically Tyler Toffoli
is a great player,
great
but
guy,
I hate
and
him.
Josh Anderson. Those are these key moves. Other than that, they just re-signed a bunch of players. They gave Gallagher more money,
which I mean that's not a bad one.
And that's fine. All that stuff. It's
So
just,
what do you say? A minus or plus? What
to me, it's a -4. Just
minus 4.
Yeah, -4. 100%.
Wow.
I'm gonna literally go for them. I'm gonna say a -2. Because again, pretty much it's the same thing that Giancarlo's talking about. I don't think they really did anything,
Do they win the Stanley Cup?
No.
Okay, that's it.
Absolutely not.
That's it. Period. -4.
I'm just gonna argue for the sake of arguing. I'm going +1.
He always does this. Like,
And no,
just ruins his credibility, right?
not really though. Like, all right, look, you extend Victor Mete. Like, good defenseman. You get Tyler Toffoli, who's a great forward. The guy can put up...
He's from Vaughan.
He's from Vaughan.
His
Like,
cousins live there.
Tyler Toffoli, guy can put up points. Guy can actually score. I don't like him. I don't know why. There's just something wrong with him that bothers me. But, I mean, he's a great player. Xavier Ouellet. I can't say that name. Like, again, another decent player. Like, another good defenseman. Brendan Gallagher is probably the heart and soul of Montreal after Carey Price. So, keeping him is the right move.
Well, yeah, after you got rid of PK Subban, I mean, I guess the heart and soul falls. It can't be Shea Weber because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, like, I in my opinion, I think Montreal set themselves up to be good. Maybe not this season, but next season. I mean, they got Jake Allen as a backup too. Like, that's a great signing.
I think they made some good signings, but they didn't. It's like Giancarlo was saying, they didn't do anything, that really makes me say, hey, they got better.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler Toffoli's a great player. They're gonna win some games. They're gonna give themselves an opportunity.
Carey Price,
Calgary got better because they got a better goalie. They're one of the best goalies in the league.
Carey Price gets injured. Carey Price gets injured almost every year at this point, right?
So does Gallagher.
Which means a lot of weight is going to lean on Jake Allen, and he's not that starter anymore. At least at the current moment, he's 30 years old. He has a chance to give his career, a rebirth. Like I said, it's just at the current moment.
All right. Well, we've all heard from you guys. All right.
Most of it's resting on that Josh Anderson.
Negative. These guys just want the spotlight. -4, -2. I'm going +1 just because give them positive.
Okay.
Like, these guys just want to argue and hog the spotlight today, apparently.
Okay, moving on. Ottawa Senators. Let's start ripping them apart because if you are in a plus at this point, I mean, look, Matt Murray, that's about it. That is about it.
Are you stoned? Evgeny Dadonov?
Okay, sorry. I'm scrolling over here. Okay.
Evgeny Dadonov is gross.
That's awesome.
Then the Matt Murray trade? Come on now.
Congratulations. Okay, Matt Murray, great.
Murray. Why do you say Murray?
Murray.
This is Murray.
Well, okay, anyway, yeah. So other than Mr. Murray and Mr. Dadonov.
The daddy.
I mean, it's one step in the right direction, but we're talking I think out of all Canadian teams they still end up the worst Canadian team out of all 7. So I'm going to go, just because they have increased from where they were, I'm going to go -2, not -4.
You really think Ottawa's worse than
Montreal? Montreal got worse from what they were. Ottawa got better from what they were, so instead of giving them a -4 and matching Montreal, I'm going to give them a -2. That's it. They're not making the playoffs, but they're probably going to be the only team who doesn't make the playoffs next year. And
you think Winnipeg's going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, 100%.
There's talks of trading Lining.
No, they got rid of the biggest toxic guy, and that was Bufflin. No. He's a good player. He's a good player, but he was toxic.
Okay, different team. Let's stay focused on Ottawa. We'll get to it.
Is there much to talk about?
On Ottawa, I mean, besides the Matt Murray trade and Evgeny Dadonov, so I'm just gonna sit here and toot Dadonov's horn. Yeah. No, I think Dadonov, he's one of those players. He's just good, man. Like the guy just the puck finds him, he doesn't find it, and then he finds the back of the net like an absolute champ. I mean, he played on Florida for a long time, and that's why Florida was in the same situation that Ottawa's looking at right now. And as a guy that's been through it and turned a team around into a really big contending team, I think Dadonov is the person that's going to lead the bus there. I am going to give them a plus. I actually think you're going to see a big change come out of Ottawa. I think this will be a very good team coming.
I think Buffalo does better than Ottawa. Yeah. So anyway, moving on.
You want to get in on this? Or you just...
I was waiting for
I'm sorry, go ahead.
because you were fucking talking.
I know.
Oh, okay. We're still on the Ottawa.
Yeah,
okay.
He's trying to crash through Ottawa right now.
I'm gonna give Ottawa actually a +1.
What?
Because
Ottawa finishes in a plus.
Plus, okay.
They got a lot of good young talent on that team.
Sure.
They had a full season last year to kind of gain some chemistry, get used to each other. They had a really good draft as well. They had a lot of picks. I mean, hopefully some of those kids can pan out and be something big. So, I mean, that's just more talent added to the pool. You know what I mean? Getting Matt Murray, hopefully he can kind of find his way. He didn't play completely horrible. Even in the playoffs, he played pretty well against Montreal. It's just Carey Price outplayed him.
Yeah, well, this is okay. Well, this is a situation now where this is what I love this about exposing goalies. Okay, oh Matt Murray won a fucking Stanley Cup. Oh, okay, bro, every single goalie who wins a Stanley Cup needs to have one thing: strong defense. No cup winner has ever had weak defense.
Did you just say any cup winner has to have a strong goalie?
What I'm trying to say here is, I think his numbers are gonna drop. He's gonna face a lot of shots and he's gonna be exposed. Just like any goalie would be exposed, no matter what caliber they are, when you have shitty defensemen. And a team a goalie does not trust, where the chemistry's not there, I'm going to see. This would be the ultimate test to see
like
what
I said,
he
let's
really
see where
is.
that goes. But
Obviously,
I'm going to give it to them just because they're set up more for the future. Down the line, I think Matt Murray was a pretty good signing for them. It was a good move at the end of the day.
Yeah, Toronto. All right, moving on. Toronto.
So I think we've all covered Toronto pretty well and extensively.
Very well.
We can just pretty much just jump right in.
Give it to a plus or a minus. Go.
Yeah. I'm gonna draw first blood here.
-6.
No. I'm gonna go +2. I like what they've done. I like the position they put them in. But I'd be more inclined to give them more if it wasn't for all these 1-year deals. This just sort of seems like the only other person other than all these 1-year signings whose ass is on the line is Kyle Dubas. And I think that's the way it should be. They can't pull it off this year. Bait it, doofus. Take you and your funky glasses out of here.
Yep.
I think I'm on the same page as that, actually. I'll just give it, I think, a -2.
What?
Or, sorry, +2.
I'm on the same page, -2.
Trying to throw you for a loop. No, I'm going to say +2 as well because they did address some of the problems, obviously. I think I need to see the start of the season. I need to see what they're going to look like. I need to see how Morgan Ralliam and TJ Brody are going to play together because that still concerns me. Because
we're going to need front row tickets for that too.
Just because of
figure it out.
We'll just see. So it's all resting on how this pans out because someone like Zach Bogosian I think is a good player. That was a good move in my eyes, but he's obviously probably not technically going to play up on the top line with Morgan Riley.
If someone gives us front row tickets, all three of us front row tickets to a Leaf game, I will go in a Talking Points Speedo and swim cap.
Okay, so don't give us tickets because I don't want to be seen with it whatsoever. But I think
okay, so +2. I think honestly. +3, +4, I'll explain why. Just because I'm just basically judging this based on the way they exited and what they are now, and it's a +3 at least, simply because they have fixed or they have maneuvered around their salary cap, which was extremely hard after signing all of their young guns with no accomplishments. They got the Joe Thornton, they got that that veteran feel. What else here? Let me scroll through this.
Aaron Dell.
Yeah.
Jimmy VC.
Yeah, and what's I think what's very important, it's going to be a little bit of an unsung hero, is obviously here we see an obvious trend. We got Simmons, Brody, and Thorne, all Toronto boys, to add to some of the Toronto players that are already on there, and these are all chemistry style players, so that's going to be a very unsung hero if we see a brand new Toronto feel when we come back. So I think they're just on the upside potential, plus on paper equals, I'm going to change it to a very bold +4 for the Leafs. Yeah, 100%.
All right,
Stanley Cup? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup team. But +4 based on how they left to what they are. That's all.
All right. Okay.
That's fair enough.
All right. We respect your opinion.
They don't. They don't.
+4.
Okay, moving on.
This is home cooking right here.
It's just
Home cooking. Alrighty, let's go. The team that Giancarlo says is going to win the cup next, Vancouver.
The next Canadian team to win.
Vancouver.
The next Canadian team to win
as he just gave Toronto +4. So let's see what he gives Vancouver.
You want me to just kick it off?
2.
They're doing it 1. But okay, yes, they got rid of Markstrom, which was like a little bit of a heartbreaker to, I'm sure to fans, but they increased on the goalie. They absolutely increased on the goalie at a time where, I said it from last episode, I'm going to say it again. This is how they got Luongo. They got Luongo at the exact same time as Holtby's career, and they went all the way to the finals with Luongo.
And they burnt down the city.
And they burnt down the city. And people are still getting charged to this day.
I was working that night.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that is like a huge jump for Vancouver, who did they win the first
must have been
round?
right on the thick.
They won the first round, right?
You were right in the thick about working those corners that night, Tom.
Yeah, they did win. They won the first round. Talk to me here. They won the first round.
Hilarious.
So
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So the fire and everything, right?
So,
Actually, I worked right
Holtby-
around the corner from where they did
let
it.
me see.
The restaurant I worked at.
I hope he was gentle.
So I said it last time too. So basically, they're a team that you do not need to touch. You don't need to touch. You have their up and coming, getting better and better and better each and every game. And all they really did was they increased their goalie. And I said they are one Kevin Bieksa away from the Stanley Cup Finals. That's it. That's the only thing they're missing, and they might get that mid-season. And that's why I think they're the highest Canadian Cup contender out of all 7. And but at the same time, based on how they left to now, I'm going to give them a +2.
You can also do it on the screen. It is a touchscreen.
I'm going to give them a +2 because
+2.
based on how they left the playoffs to what they are now, nothing changed other than we now know each other. There's some familiarity, and they increased their goalie. That's it.
All right. Vancouver. I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm gonna go +0. No plus, no minus.
+0.
I'm giving them nothing.
It's a plus. It's a +0. It's not a -0.
But
It's a +0.
anyways, I'm giving them a 0. No points.
Yeah.
No talking points.
No talking
Holtby. I'm iffy about Holtby, and I'm iffy about the trade in general. What's it called? Like I don't know.
It wasn't a trade.
Sorry, yeah, not a trade.
Wasn't a
I
trade.
just have to rethink that. Not the trade. The signing in general. It's one of those things. I think Elias Pettersson is the big part of where these guys are going to go. Brock Besser, but I think losing to Foley, that's really going to hurt them. They lost a guy that would pop in a lot of points for them, and that's going to be a big hole to fill for somebody. Who is going to do it? I don't know, but it's so. Take it as it is with Holtby plus or minus. I don't really care, and then losing to Foley I think hurts him, but I'm still gonna leave him at a nice 0. Even though realistically I probably should go minus, but I'm gonna go 0 because my heart of heart says Elias Pettersson will make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go actually with the moves that they made in the free agency and that they didn't make. I'm gonna say -1. I think they're still gonna be a good team. I think they're gonna. Looking at how Holtby is a good goalie, he's won a cup. That's going to bring in some good leadership in the room, but unless he can really find that form again, because he just has not played up to his standards. Thatcher Demko, in my mind, is one of those goalies that is going to be a future asset for them. He is going to be their number 1.
Or a beautiful flash in the pan.
So for now, I think what they're going to do is split the season between the two and see what happens. And I think Thatcher Demko in even the short term and the long term is going to steal that job from Holtby, and Holtby's going to be kind of finding himself on the outs. He's going to end up just being there.
That's bold.
And that's
The
it.
unemployment line.
And the thing is, they lost Tyler Toffoli, which was he definitely provided some goal scoring for them. Even after he came back from injury, he scored right away. He's just gave that. I thought they were actually going to re-sign him. I was really surprised that they let him walk. And then losing Markstrom on top of that, they did get Holtby, so it's kind of like a 1-for-1. I think they're both kind of on that same level.
Yeah.
But they need Holtby to find that level again, is what they're going to need. And I don't think they signed anybody yet that's really jumped out at me, other than losing players, which is Chris Tanev and Markstrom at the end of it.
Okay.
And
Winnipeg.
Toffoli, sorry.
Winnipeg, last one.
Alright, last but not
They
least,
were quiet to me.
Winnipeg.
I don't remember nothing for these.
I'll start with Winnipeg, because I'm a little bit of a
Do it.
fan of them. I think they actually did just fine. I think, they went and they got like Lucas Pisa again, re-signing him. He's
Up.
pretty decent player.
The other way.
Yeah, I was just looking.
Yeah.
Nate Thompson again, good energy guy. That's a pretty good move. And they also went out and traded for Paul Stastny, which in my eyes was probably the smartest move they made.
Yeah, I get it.
Probably pissed Paul Stastny off a little bit because I know he left there and signed a substantial contract with Vegas because that's where he wanted to be, obviously. And after they made it pretty deep in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure he was expecting to stay there, even getting Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
So now he's probably a little not happy, but that's the name of the game.
Living
Right?
the Vegas life to come into.
So I think,
Vegas.
and even re-signing Dylan DeMello as well. Like he's a good strong guy on the back end as well. So I mean, I think at the end of the day they did a pretty good decent job, and I'm gonna give them a +2.
+2. Alright. For me, the Stastny trade was kind of the one big thing to come out of Winnipeg. I think it will help them out. I mean, they've got a decent team. They really need to, I think and I know John Carlo's going to touch on this point too. If they can kind of jump over the ghost of yesteryear and get over this whole losing of Bufflin and everything like that, I think that was kind of a bit of a shade that hung over them last year. So, picking up guys like Beaulieu, Sivza, Stastny, I think that will help them. And now they've sort of moved on past all of it and gotten over, Bufflin, who I still think the Toronto Maple Leafs should go and get. You heard it here.
He doesn't want to play this year.
He wants to play for Toronto.
Reported.
But anyways, I would be more than happy to give him like a +1, +2, a soft. I'm gonna give him a soft 2.
Okay, let me
wrapped in tissue.
So basically, I don't like anything that they kind of really did over this free agency. I'm giving them a minus. I'm just not sure yet because I'm not looking at the players they got. I'm looking at the players that they didn't get, that they definitely needed. They needed to replace a Bufflin. They did not. Okay. They currently have a problem, a little bit of a poison within the team, and that's Laine.
Yeah,
you're talking about a guy who, before his first game, said, "I should have been the first-round pick, not Matthews." Right? And that style of talk to the media has literally prolonged up until now. He has not changed at all at any point, and that has spilled, I think, within the team. There was even that time, remember when Bufflin screamed at him on the ice, and it was so loud that even the camera caught it on the ice, right? Move, right? And anyway, so just between, you had a Bufflin poison and you had a Laine poison. They got rid of the Bufflin, now they got the Laine. And again, based on if you're a manager, you can already foresee you're going to stick with the Laine, but you already know it's probably not going to last. And Laine is going to force you to make a move for him.
It's already been
talked.
Fine.
He's a
so then why didn't you go dig deep into free agency? That's what I'm talking about, and they didn't.
I mean, I'm sure they're testing the waters right now for him, and the problem is that the league itself, they're not stupid. They smell blood in the water. They know what's out there.
Right.
They know that he wants out.
Right.
So they're going to try to lowball them.
Of course.
So they're kind of going, well, we can either keep a potential 40, 50 goal scorer,
right,
or we move him and get literally fuck all.
And remember, I think this also stems back to kind of our Taylor Hall talk is the cap goes up next year. I'm pretty sure, without a doubt, I'm almost certain it will go up next year. And I mean, for a guy like Laine that wants out, that's your incentive right there.
Yeah.
Go put up some big ass points. Tell your team you don't want to come back.
Sure.
Tell them to trade you and go out and sign.
But at the same time, if I'm the GM, I don't want that because it's toxic in the dressing room. This guy doesn't want to be here. He's not part of your brotherhood. He's not. And hockey's a very tight knit group. I'm sure they understand, his situation. He wants to be a first line guy. He wants the minutes. He thinks he's an Alex Ovechkin type player. Does he have potential to become a player like that?
If he shuts up.
For sure.
If he shuts up.
But, of course he's a goal scorer. We've seen him score goals. I think he had 5 in a game one game.
Who was it that clean, knocked him out in center ice there? open ice hit and stood
Oh.
the fuck up. It was such a good hit.
It
I
was
know
a
you're-
big.
I
No, no,
I don't
it was the
remember
Vegas
it.
guy.
What was it?
Yeah, who is the fucking Vegas guy? What's his name?
You sure it was
The
Vegas?
goon from Vegas.
Oh, Reeves?
Yeah.
Reeves with Dershi?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Reeves.
I think it was Reeves.
I think it was
Reeves did
Buffalo.
I think he might have
I think it
been.
was Buffalo. Did it. Anyways, I checked that
Yeah.
out. It was a monstrous
But-
hit, and I was so happy.
Oh, I think it was Jake McCabe.
Maybe.
I believe it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Jake
you're
McCabe.
right.
It
It
is.
is.
I recall
It
Jake
is.
McCabe
Yeah.
hitting him. I think that's what it was.
That was a huge hit. God, that was good.
So overall, I'm gonna give these guys like honestly a -3 just because of all the opportunities they missed that they need. Like out of all Canadian teams, in a position to buy a Pietrangelo, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, they failed to do so, and I think a little bit goes on to maybe like give them a little bit of leeway. No, as a free agent, if I'm a free agent, like I'm not just looking at the team, I'm looking at the city. A lot of people don't want to move to Manitoba.
Yeah.
Right? I get that. I totally get that. I just still think they failed to capture somebody of worthwhile for free agency. And ultimately, I think what's going to lose here is their die-hard loyal fans. These guys honestly are something else simply because they know what it feels like to lose their team, and they've come back. And honestly, to me, Winnipeg is still new to me. You know, even though they've been here, what, 6-7 years now?
Well, I mean, they kind of have been around even longer if you really look
No,
at it.
no, I
because
know,
They
I know.
transitioned from Atlanta.
But they,
so
that,
it's-
that,
That's
that,
what he means, like you said.
No, no,
that,
yeah.
that
In
fan
actual
base had to
Winnipeg,
wait,
for
what,
sure, yeah.
17, 18 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So just, we're still in that new phase still. They've made the playoffs twice, 3 times maybe. And the first time they lost all 4 games. Basically, these guys are the whiteout, and you got to give them something here. They lost their Bufflin. They lost a little bit of morale, and even the playoffs right now is questionable. Get that fight back. They failed to do so. -3. I'm done. That's it.
All right, so let's spend
Canadian pool.
the quick 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Let's talk about our thoughts on the idea of the Canadian division. We talked a little bit about it in our live there, but we didn't really. We kind of just really skimmed over it. So basically, for anyone that doesn't understand what we're talking about here, is essentially just due to COVID-19 that the NHL would form all 7 Canadian teams into one division, and that would be it. Only Canadian teams would face Canadian teams since we can't cross in and out of the States without having to quarantine. In my opinion, just to keep hockey going, yeah, it makes sense. But in my opinion, as to how I like the NHL, no, it's stupid. I think it's just a little crooked. All of a sudden now, you're changing up the game entirely. Where these 7 teams are going to have to travel across such far divisions just to have single games, double header games, whatever. It's going to hinder them because like you have to cross 3 time zones to get from Montreal to Vancouver. You know, and it's different when you're going from Vegas to Seattle now.
You see, but now my question with this whole thing is, so how are they going to work this? Like, I guess
Somebody
they're
tell
going
me.
to stay and play each Canadian team a series of games. Like, is this going to turn out to be like
Baseball.
how baseball is?
Yeah.
Is that what they're going to do?
So, does
Well,
anybody
now,
know?
if we go over to the States and we play, whoever, we play Rangers, then we play Buffalo, then we play Islanders, and we play this side. When we come back, they have to have a 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
Right? Unless, they change the rules, which
Yeah.
they probably won't, because this whole thing's a
Look,
fucking disaster.
let's just it's such a mess. It's such a mess.
But that's the thing.
Does
like,
anybody
it's
even know what this like proposed structure is? Like just Canadian team,
I haven't really looked into it thoroughly.
or like
Yeah,
or like an American tour one time in the season?
No,
It
so
just
from
seems like
from my understanding, it is Canada will stay in Canada, and like the States will stay in the States. That's why their whole conversation when the GM of Vegas brought this up is, well, aren't you worried about trading a guy like Stastny to a rival, a division rival, or someone in your division? Sorry, and he basically said no because that's going to be the Canadian division. We're not even going to play them. So that's where the whole talk is. So it's you have to realize this isn't a.
So is it supposed to be 82 games of just playing Canadian teams?
But this is
that what they're
this is
saying?
what they're this is pretty
Retarded?
much it.
That's
though.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Is
Yeah.
what they're essentially saying is it would be almost like listen, I don't know exactly what they're discussing because they haven't really released a lot of details on it. I
Unless
heard
it's just
the
going to be the
conversations.
Canadian teams play like, the 4 games that they would normally play against each other or whatever games they would play, and then they go to the States and stay there. Like,
Yeah,
that's the only
I
thing I
don't
can
know.
think.
I
I don't know.
I don't know. In my opinion, I know it's
It
hard
just
on.
doesn't make any sense to
This is
me.
dumb.
I know it's hard on the players, but I think hub cities are the way to go. And I think what we do.
And in the grand scheme of things, I think.
Hear me out. So I think, in my opinion, what I would do is I would do hub cities. I know the players hate it, and then basically like you would speed up games. You'd have to play a lot more games in a week, and then basically it's like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, go home, see your families, come back a week later, get back to hockey. And it's going to be a lot of stop and go during the season. I know it sounds stupid, but if these guys want to see their family, that might be the only way to do it and carry on hockey as a whole.
These are only ideas because obviously the NHLPA like also has to accept the deal. They can't just say, this is what you're doing, fuck off. They're going to say, no, like, we're not doing
That's a big no. That's got to be the biggest no.
I don't think so. And I think, I don't know, to me it looks, because,
that's a mess.
We've spoken
like if you are Vancouver or Montreal or even essentially Ottawa, you basically all of your trip, like you are always the furthest traveler, right? If you are in the middle, the Edmonton, Calgary, or even Winnipeg. Winnipeg would be best situated.
Not even that bad.
Winnipeg would be best situated because they're traveling an equal distance no matter which way they go, and all that stuff.
No one wants to play in fucking Winnipeg anyway.
Right, but I'm just saying it's like anyways. This is a mess of a structure. I think we can all conclude. Let's pray that this doesn't happen. That's it. I mean, I'd still watch it just because it's kind of unique. And all Canadian, but I don't want this to be.
Yeah, but what are we going to bring back? The old Canada Cup?
Yeah, this is literally going back at least 80 to almost 100 years of years ago of hockey, of how hockey used to be, and it's not.
No,
it's not good.
I don't like the situation. I don't like the setup.
So would you rather do the Canadian division or have no hockey?
I'd rather have no hockey, simply because I'm very deep into hockey pools, and it's gonna be stupid. I don't even know what to watch for.
I would.
That's very true.
I wouldn't want to see an NHL season, but I would like to see almost tournaments.
Yeah.
So a week or two, they go down to a city, they play some tournaments, multiple teams play.
I think we just need to get back to
I think we just gotta suck it up.
Just put it back the way it was.
Yeah,
play it out. If they're having COVID cases, then you gotta deal with it from there.
Actually, I this is what I'll say, and I thought about this the other week, is I think this is the one time ever, and I mean, you two might disagree with me, that it's almost interesting because I hear a lot of people saying what you're saying, oh, just go get it, who cares, we get COVID. But I think this is the one time that we as the hockey community and we as the hockey fans hold the power to bring back our sport. This is for the couch coaches, this is for the Div 1's dropouts, this is for the guys with the bum knees that could have made it in high school but just, my bum knee didn't go. This is your opportunity. Put on a fucking mask, wash your fucking hands, and just protect yourself, protect everyone else, and let's get back to the way things were. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna shake my head. That's about it. That's about it.
Shut up your ass.
All right. Well, anyways, so we're gonna leave that one on a little bit of a disagreeable.
I knew you were like, I'm like, okay, yeah, and then you went, I'm like, oh,
I'm saying.
Oh my god.
I'm saying, do what it takes to get our sport back.
Do what it takes to get your sport back.
So,
all it takes is your prime minister. That's all it takes. One person, not millions of people. One person. One person.
Figure it out, Justin, you piece of shit.
Nice hair, though.
Still disagree. But anyways, I think that's where we wrap it up here before we get too political as per usual. He always delves into politics with us.
You started it.
I just said,
you started
wear your mask.
You are mimicking exactly what your politician said.
Wear your mask, wash your hands. Let's get our sport back.
Anyway.
That's what Dougie Ford said, and you guys roll up his ass when he was running.
Whoa.
Yeah, let me get all the chats up later. Anyways, let's get back to the point here. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us for this week. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Let us know what you think about, your plus minuses for the Canadian teams and where we went wrong. I'm Daniel Fernandez. This is James Miller. This is Giancarlo Malache. We are Talking Points. Make sure to talk points, baby.